Hello, welcome to John's Author Diary for the weekend in February the 9th, 2020. As you can probably hear, my voice is a bit ropey today. I seem to be losing my voice. I'm also in a lot of pain because yesterday I went to the hospital and had my shoulder scanned and looked at, and they pumped it full of steroids, and now it feels like someone has come down on it with a brick. So I am sitting recording this with a heat bag on my shoulder, trying my best to keep still. As I mentioned last week, this week has been a bit disrupted because of the hospital appointment, and I'm recording this on the Friday, and I didn't factor in the fact that the day after the hospital I would be in a lot of pain. So I've basically done half a week's work. So it's been quite productive. I did finish Temperance, so that is about to come out. So I've brought the pre-order forward for that, so it'll come out on the 9th. I've also outlined and written the first 3 chapters to The Devil, which is book 15. I'm really enjoying using the tarot cards with this series to inspire it because it's given me some great ideas, and I was looking at the next one, which is The Tower, so that'll be book 16. And it's just perfect in terms of where the story needs to go, so I'm looking forward to getting these 2 done. So I mentioned last week the book Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport, and basically on the back of reading that, I decided to close my Twitter account. So I think I opened my Twitter account in about 2009, something like that, so it's something I've had for a long time. I think the last couple of years on Twitter, there's a lot of angry people on there, a lot of people who seem to have lost an attachment to reality. I think there's a lot of people on there, especially the blue check-marked American journalists seem to be the worst at this, but a lot of anger, outrage, virtue signalling, faux activism, shaming people who said something over a decade ago in order to ruin a career, or calling for people to be cancelled and things like that. I just think it's disgusting. I think it's a reflection of the worst kind of behaviour that people can do. I've always been one for virtuous actions, not virtue signalling. So I just had to weigh up what I was actually getting from it. And I was keeping on Twitter because I occasionally get DMs off people and things like that. But those people can email me. If those people want to get in touch in other means, they can. So I won't have to think about that anymore. I won't have to think, oh, should I keep it, should I not? It's done, it's gone. So no longer on Twitter. I'm also no longer on Patreon. I've closed my fiction account on Patreon. It was an experiment. I tried it for a year. I think I spent a lot of time trying to do stuff with it, but it didn't get any traction. So, I was glad for the people who supported me, and grateful that some people did go beyond just buying my books and did want to support me in a different way. So thank you for that. But that is now closed. I finished watching the finale of The Good Place this week. So this is a series on Netflix. I've really enjoyed it. It's a comedy. It's produced by the same people who did things like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Parks and Recreation. The writing on it is tremendous. And what I've liked about it is, as well as the fun characters and the comedy, it's had a lot of discussion about ethics and virtue and things like that, how to live a good life. And I think the last episode really encapsulated that, so I'm trying not to give any spoilers now, but you do get the idea that the meaning of life is a life of meaning, and when you don't have meaning, there's numbness. And so it was really moving. I can't remember the last time I watched a show that I was into that had such a perfect ending. I think maybe Breaking Bad did a great ending, but then I think back to shows like Lost and Battlestar Galactica are the shows that I loved where the ending wasn't that great. So I finished reading Catch-22 this week. Really enjoyed that. Just a great satire. Not sure whether the story was necessarily up to much, but I just enjoyed the experience of being with those insane characters. I also read Theory of Psychoanalysis by Carl Jung. I do like a lot of Carl Jung's ideas about the imago and about archetypes and the collective unconscious and things like that. There wasn't really anything in this book about that. There was a little bit about the imago, but it was basically an overview of psychoanalytic theory and also his kind of response to Freud. So pretty interesting. Not the most fascinating book I've ever read, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. I've also started reading Paradise Lost by John Milton. So this is the epic poem. I've read the first book of that. Last weekend I appeared on the latest episode of the Now You've Seen It podcast, talking about Groundhog Day, the Bill Murray movie from the 90s. I'd never seen it before, so it was good to watch that, and you can find that wherever you get your podcasts, so just search for Now You've Seen It, look for the episode about Groundhog Day. So next week, I want to carry on writing The Devil. I'm going to aim to get a first draft done by the end of the week. I'll just see how my voice holds out because I will be dictating. If not, then I'll figure something else to do. But I've got a half-term holiday coming up, so my wife and son are going to be at home. So if I can get the first draft done before they break up, that'll be awesome, because then after the half term, I can go back and start on the second draft. So if you've got any questions you want to ask on this podcast, please do. It's john@johncronshaw.com. That's JONCRONSHAW. Remember also to check out the Sci-Fi Roundtable podcast. So this is a podcast that I regularly host. So again, find that wherever you're listening to this. So until next time, cheerio.